Zoom is you can't see everybody. You can only see 4 people at a time.
Yeah.
And right now I'm looking at myself, you, Joe, J-Mo, Liz, and I'm looking at a picture of Brandy, or Brandy's sitting very still, one or the other.
How did I know you were going to say that?
Because he says it every single time.
Pretty
I
much.
know.
Yeah, put a chair up against the door, and it'll take them a while to get in there. By the time they call the fire department and the police,
Yeah.
call will be over. Say, "Oops, I don't know what happened."
Oh, the problem is they're getting to know me on a first name basis when I walk in here. Like, hey, Scott, you want a room? Hey, thank you. Yep. Okay. So,
Yeah, but you're over there doing deals and making money.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna get started here in about 1 minute or less.
All right.
I'm on an iPad, so I'm trying to figure this thing out.
Okay.
So,
You're doing good so far.
thank God, man. It's either that or my phone. So
Hey, Joe, you called me and you wanted me to teach you how to measure rooftops. You want to call me again? I'll teach you how to use a stupid computer too.
yeah. How do you turn it on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Andy, are you there?
All I see is this no button. How do you turn this thing on? It says no. I keep
getting kicked off because I think me and Joe are clogging up the accounts. So
Yeah.
I logged into my own because it's easier.
Okay.
Because
Perfect. So we're gonna kick this off here.
Yeah, let's go ahead and kick it off. Yeah, I'll kick it off. All right. Thank everybody for joining. This is the Scott and Joe Comedy Hour right now, apparently. This is, yeah, you're in a real estate meeting, but this is what real estate's about. You build a real estate business so that you can have fun. Either that or you can, stay at your 9 to 5, and some people like their 9 to 5. But anyways, this is the alternatives meeting. We're part of the Freedom First Real Estate Investor Association in Rochester. And this is the Aries subgroup, Alternative Real Estate Investments. That's what we talk about. In this meeting, we talk about everything having to do with real estate except for tenants and toilets. We talk about how to make money in real estate, except for with rent. There is a separate group for that. It's called the Landlord Support Group, funny enough. And good group of guys over there. Just if you want to learn about landlording and talk about landlording, that's where you do that. Here we will we'll let a conversation go towards rentals for a little bit because it does affect everything in real estate. But we'll steer away from it too. So Joe or I step up and kind of stop something. That's why. But what we do, you read the disclaimer in the beginning. We're not lawyers, we're not attorneys. Anything we give is just kind of based on our position. And we like the open dialogue. We like people to talk, ask questions. New people, don't be shy. Ask questions, please do, because what you're thinking, a lot of other people are thinking, but they're afraid to say so. How many people do we have on there, Andy? I can't see yet.
18
So far, I got 18.
at the moment. Yep.
Okay, 18. Okay. And so what we do, we go around the room, we do introductions. Anybody who's new to the group, just tell us who you are, how you found out about FFREIA, and what you're currently doing, whether you're working a job or just have a couple rentals, and what you'd like to be doing in real estate. I can't see everybody yet. So I'm going to bring up my computer in a minute. I'll be able to see everybody and call them out. But so yeah, just a quick intro. If this is your first or second meeting with this group, please introduce yourself so we can get to know you a little bit. So anybody want to speak up and start?
Hello, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you.
Loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I was trying to get video and I'm having a hard time. But anyway, my name's Tracy Belmont. I'm very new to FFREIA. I joined maybe about a month ago. Just started thinking about doing real estate seriously a couple months ago. I work full-time. I'm a pharmacist at Wegmans. So trying to learn a lot during my free time. And I think these meetups are great. Very helpful.
Great. We're glad to have you.
Thanks.
No. And by the way, what do you look at? What kind of real estate are you looking to do? Holds, flips?
So I haven't done anything yet, but possibly wholesaling, rent to own,
Okay.
rentals.
Perfect. Welcome. Glad to have you, Tracy.
Thanks.
Who else? Don't be shy. Don't make Scott call you out. He'll come to your house.
Yeah.
in a
I can
heartbeat.
jump in there.
Hello? Can you hear me?
It'll take him a little while, but he'll be there.
That's right. Who else do we have?
I
I
don't
can
know,
go.
there's
Can you-
yeah,
can
go
you hear
ahead.
me?
Lucas Conley here. Can you guys hear me?
Yep,
Yes.
loud and clear. California, right?
Joined. That's right. That's right.
Yes, I remember. Perfect.
Joined a few months ago. Haven't been on in at least 6 weeks, as I've been occupied both with real estate and other stuff, but travel, summer stuff. But we're closing on the Canandaigua property, which is our first investment property next week. So we've been prepping for Airbnb, and I can go into more detail, but just that's my introduction, and kind of have questions and thoughts around that stuff.
Great. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, I'm super excited to get going.
Where's your property in California?
LA here in Culver City.
Awesome.
Are you
All
in LA? Are you a little north or a little south of LA? Or are you right dead in LA?
We're right in the center here.
Okay.
Venice is our neighboring city, so we're about 2 miles from the beach where I live.
Awesome.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay,
All right.
cool. Great. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here. And
Glad
there's
to
so
be-
many people getting into Airbnb and VRBO, short-term rentals. Might almost be worth it to look into doing a subgroup on that. I don't know. There's
Yep.
a lot of people doing it.
There's been some discussion already around it on Jake and Kayla and talking to Josh and some other people. So we'll see.
That'd be great.
Cool.
Perfect.
All right, good. Andy, I'm trying to come in on my laptop.
Okay.
So there's a host
Let's take a look here.
All right.
Is it me?
No, I don't see him coming in yet. Are you on the right one, Scott? Because there's the old meeting and there's the new meeting.
Okay, I went to the FFREIA website.
Oh, well then it should be working
Should
because I
be.
don't see you on the
That's
list.
I did it right off the reminder on the email.
Oh, you know what? I can't see it because I'm not a host right now. So that's
Yeah,
why I can't see it.
Yeah, everybody's logged in though. Scott's in.
Well, no, wait a second. Who can't get there, Scott?
He's
Well-
trying to log in with his laptop too.
I don't see him.
I don't either.
It's
I
frozen.
don't,
Okay.
I see him in the old meeting.
Actually, I think you're the hostie, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Any other new people? We got any other new people there? Don't be shy.
Yeah, I'm new. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yep.
can.
My name is Pablo Ruiz. This is my first time here. I'm
Oh,
Pablo, I
Pablo,
think your signal's no good. We just lost you.
I got him. I think I got him.
No, he's in the room, but he's not talking anymore. I think he's frozen.
doing wholesaling.
There we go.
okay. Pablo, we lost you, Pablo. Pablo, we lost you after you introduced yourself.
We got your name and then you staticked out and we heard nothing until wholesaling. So it was like 30 seconds of dead air.
Just start again. Jesus.
Yeah. Go ahead, Pablo.
You froze again.
Sorry. All right. Who else?
My name is Pablo Ruiz.
Yeah, Pablo.
I'm from Rochester, New York.
Full service.
Yeah. I'm here.
Your signal is really, really bad, Pablo. We can barely understand anything
Yeah,
you're saying.
yeah.
Can
Yeah,
you
we may
like
have
get upstairs or go outside someplace where you get better signal?
Okay, I will do that.
All right. Anyone else? Any other new people on here? I don't know if we lost Scott or Scott's still on or not.
I
I'm
don't.
on.
new person.
Oh, there's Scott. He's here. Wonder
He's
I
here
can't-
twice. Yeah, he's good now. He's got both on. Anyway, we do
Maybe
have one
now.
other new person. Somebody started talking.
Yeah, that was me.
Hey,
My name
Max.
is Max. I'm a beginning wholesaler. 20 years old. Just looking to make connections and get my foot in the door.
Well, you're in the right meeting for that. There's a bunch of people here who wholesale already, and some of them are pretty darn good at it. So
No.
Actually, Max was at the
Welcome,
meeting
Max.
last week Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
He's like 8'10" or something like that. He's a basketball player.
I
So,
know. Scott, I had to look up that. It was Scott.
mhm.
Glad to have you here, Max.
Happy to be here.
Perfect. By the way, Max is going to college, plays sports, and he did everything he had to do to see about getting on this call tonight. So he's definitely motivated. Anyone else before we get started here?
All right. I want to, let's see. I see Nan is trying to connect. Jack, you're not new, are you?
No, I've been to
No.
the meeting before. No.
Okay. All right. All right. I don't make them to all of them, so I'm sorry. I may have missed you in the past. So, okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm
All right.
looking, maybe look at some storage stuff.
Okay.
Way,
All right,
the
good.
way things are for annual rentals in the state of New York, I think it's time to move on.
hmm Yeah.
you're not alone in that sentiment.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I will make an announcement. Next Tuesday, on September 20th, I'm going to be giving another self-storage presentation. It's with a self-storage group. It's going to be at Crane Realty in Canandaigua. And I'd love for everybody to come. If y'all come, that'd be good. But I'm going to be talking about self-storage. It is with a group of other self-storage investors. So it might be a little bit more high level than what I talked about, but it may not be too. I just talked last week at the FFREIA meeting. And so I'm still not sure exactly what I'm going to present on, but we're going to talk storage, and there will be a lot of storage people there. And it's just over in Canandaigua. So come on and come to that meeting.
Scott, what time does it start?
6:30. Thanks, Joe.
At the Crane Realty office?
Yep. Yeah, it's on Main Street in Canandaigua.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, starts 6:30. So I'll tell him to order extra pizza because Joe's gonna come. So,
Oh, man. Oh.
all right.
And by the way, Scott, don't forget about the, I know next month, we're also going to be having the main meeting also. And I think it's Chris Sardone that's going to be there. Is that correct?
Yep, Chris is speaking. You got it.
You know, Chris actually is our accountant. And Chris not only is an accountant, but he's also an investor. So he actually speaks our language and knows exactly what we look for. So, and you're able to go there and ask him as many questions as you want for free. And that's going to be what, the second Thursday of next month.
Yep.
At Ferrari's Pizza.
Yeah, let me just interject a couple of items here. Certainly agree with Joe's comments. Chris has been my own personal accountant for, if I said 20 years, he'll be very upset. If I said 30 years, he'll be slightly upset. If I said 40 years, he would say you were close. Okay, so I've had him as an accountant for quite a while. He's really a sharp guy, has taught at MCC for at least 25 years. And he really knows his business. He really is, as Joe indicated, a person who understands real estate investing and understands flips and understand all those other things that a lot of real estate investors have questions about. And so fundamentally, he's been around for a while. And what I would ask is if you have some personal question, send it to D or either send it to myself, and we'll make sure Chris answers your question during the discussion. So just a way of, we have two people who are sort of part of your power team, and then you may have someone else that you use. But the two people I'm thinking about and talking about right now is Chris Sardone and Steve Peterson. And they provide, Steve is the attorney that most of the people on this call use. And they provide a wealth of information around things that you should and should not be doing. One from a accounting perspective, as we're talking about here, and also from the standpoint of those legal things that we should and should not be doing. So just, make sure you send in your questions, and it's one of those things that we do to give back value from the standpoint of the membership associated with Freedom First. And every year we have Steve Peterson and Chris Sardone, one being an attorney and the other one being an accountant, that basically they run the general meeting for that particular session to be able to get your input and thoughts around whatever you have in the way of questions. So just, if you got something that's in the air, then give us a shout. And clearly, most of us on the call, particularly people who have properties that are rentals, as someone was talking about just a moment ago, basically, how do you handle certain situations? What do you do if you didn't get any income last year? Can you still write it off? What do you do if you get in a situation and the tenant is only partially paying, and how do you handle all these situations that would be specific to you? Because it's really a personalized way of you being able to ask questions. I'll stop now and let us get back to the meeting at hand. Just want to give that input to folks so they understand what to expect and what they should be doing from the standpoint of taking advantage, for sake of better words, of the value that comes from both of those individuals who are vendor members of Freedom First. Any questions with people? Okay, Joe, I'm gonna give it back to you.
All right, I don't know, I can't tell if Scott's still on or not.
He's
Come
still
on, Joe. Let's see. Nan, I think, dropped off. We had a Nan on here, and I'm not sure who that was. Pablo, is your connection any better now?
I think so.
Okay. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Pablo Ruiz. I'm just learning the English language, but I will try to do my best. I'm from Rochester, New York, and I want to start in real estate on wholesaling, because I think that is the most fast way to make capital. And in the course of time, I hope to grow and finishing buying properties for rent, because I got dreams of financial freedom. And when I saw this group, I felt something inside of me that this is a good group that I will need to acquire good connections, knowledge, and that's what I'm here.
Welcome.
Welcome, Pablo. We're real glad you're here. And that's a great introduction.
Thank you very
And
much.
I think we all should take ourselves off mute for a minute and clap for Pablo to be here. I think it's pretty awesome.
Hey,
So,
Thank you.
All right.
You're in the right place to do all those things.
yep. And, yeah, that's great. So we're glad you're here. So stick around, keep coming back. Don't give up. Trust me. There's times this thing's just going to chew you up and spit you out, but you know, as long as you land on your back, you're looking up, you can get back up. So, and don't worry, you're not the only one going through it. When you're going through some hard times, you're not the only one, man. We've all been through it. We all go through it. Even myself, I do okay now, but there's times, man, I just, you know, I get down. But you got to keep your goal in front of you, just like you said, Pablo. You got some big dreams. Keep those dreams in front of you. You got to make your dreams bigger than the work. So good job. Cool.
Thank you very much.
Yep. All right. Now we go around the room. Joe, correct me if I'm wrong. We're going to do have, needs, wants.
Yep.
Okay. Have, needs, wants. What we do is we talk about if you're looking for a particular property or you have something you're looking to sell, or if you're looking for a contractor or something like that, that's when we do the have, needs, wants. Not time to ask questions. There'll be time for questions. We'll leave lots of time for that. But this is like the have, needs, wants part. So if you have something you're looking for, or if you're looking for a certain property, this is the time to bring it up. I'll start. All your self-storage leads, you call me first. There's lots of guys on here looking for self-storage, including Bella. I see Bella there, but that's Gabe's dog. Self-storage, looking to buy anywhere in the United States. Was lucky enough to put one together just last week in Mississippi with a couple other partners, and works out well. So I can buy anywhere in the United States and pay wholesale fees if you want, or if you want, we'll bring you as an equity partner. So, or we'll do a combination of both. We've had some where we give people a wholesale fee and their equity partners, and the percentage that they kept is probably worth twice what they would have made 2 years ago on a property wholesale. So that's it. So any price range too. So that's it. That's me. Who else wants to go?
I'll go, Scott, because you're no longer my partner. My dog is now my new partner now. Since you're
Ding, shots fired.
Loyalty.
that's just, and just like Scott, if you guys, if anyone, and I'm in self-storage full time, and with my trusted confidant and partner and friend, Scott Spear, and if anyone has leads anywhere in the US as well, 10,000 square feet and above ideally, we'll be glad to take a look at it. And don't call him first, call me first. Actually, I'm the guy that gets half of it done, the first half. So you gotta call me first. I'll put my name in there. No, I'll jump ahead, though. Any one of us, we'll go through it. But just like him, I mean, we'll be working tandem, and I'll put my name and number in the chat box of anyone, anywhere in the U.S. Again, it's if it's Alaska, Hawaii, hell, if it's Hawaii, I'll go there myself right now. But so yes, anywhere in the U.S. Just like got said, and I would appreciate all the leads. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Perfect. Who else?
Who else?
I'll go. Obviously, I do commercial residential. I'm looking for, actually, I do city suburbs. I'm looking to purchase those. I do have a house that's going to probably need some serious rehab, not for the faint of heart, in the town of Avon. If you're interested, get a hold of me. My information will be on the chat box. Again, not for the faint of heart. I have another property in the city, a 3-bedroom, 1.5 baths in the city. Needs a lot of work. It's probably gonna go for somewhere around 22,000 bucks. And I know I'm forgetting one other property, but I'm sure it'll come to me. And I'm also looking for self-storage and industrial properties. So if you know of any, please keep me in mind. Who else? Don't be shy. If you're shy and you don't let us know what you're looking for, we're going to call somebody else because we won't know that you want that deal.
Hey, Joe, it's Llewellyn. I'll go.
Hey,
Hey, guys. I'm a buy and hold investor. I have some rental properties in Geneva and Newark and looking for multifamily. I also have a house in Geneva that a large house that I'm probably going to be selling. So, and I guess that's it.
okay.
House in Geneva, is it a fixer upper? Is it a turnkey or is it a retail sale?
It needs some work. Yeah, I've been working on it. The last person I had in there had to have some major repairs done on it. So I'm fixing it up now. I'll either get another renter in there if I don't find anybody that, wants it, get another renter in there, or I also like rent own, but apparently I'm not very good at it, Scott, because I had a rent own in there and they just destroyed the place.
Not easy.
So any insight you have on that, well, that would be helpful.
On rent to own or on selling your property in Geneva?
Oh, well, rent own,
Okay.
apparently I did something wrong on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
If there's time at the
interject,
end, we'll talk about it.
just interject.
Okay.
So Llewellyn, just to interject, back in the day, and we're not going back too far, the expert on rent to own was the one and only Scott Spear. I can remember him giving a presentation to almost 200 people.
What?
So he probably can help you in that arena.
Okay.
Well,
Okay,
Scott,
good to know.
yeah, Scott, I assume that you're okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, not a problem.
So
I've
now,
forgotten a lot about it, but I filled it back in with other stuff. Joe, you may know Lava Bear, you may know a buyer in Geneva, right? For rental property?
Yeah, I do have we got connections out there. Just depends on the numbers.
Right.
Well, we can ask Llewellyn some of the numbers to the haves and wants. Maybe we can, go over some of them and see if it's going to work. I'm sure she may know some of the buyers we know too out there. So
Yeah, probably.
Cool.
And by the way, is it off market right now?
Yeah, it's off market. It's empty right now. Like I said, I've been
No.
working-
I mean, it's not listed on the MLS, right?
No,
Okay.
no, it's not.
Okay. Perfect. All right.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? I'm going to call somebody out. He doesn't know I'm going to call him out unless he speaks up.
well, I will interject. I always, Leon Griggs, always looking for properties that I can do rehabs and flips on, particularly on the eastern side of the city and on the western side of the city. And I'll go as far as Buffalo on one side of the city and Geneva on the other side of the city.
Holy smokes. Well, you do Avon?
Yep.
We'll talk.
Because when you get down to it, isn't it really all about the numbers? And as you know, the numbers that are correct, the numbers that really fit, the numbers that are the real numbers, and so those are, yeah, once you go through the numbers, then there's no issue. It can
Okay.
be in Santa Barbara, California. No, you can't fly there, Joe. Well, you could, but not for the project. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks, Leon. All right.
Sorry. Thank you.
Hey,
There's JD.
hey, I am currently looking for any fixer upper multifamily or single family. And I'm starting to dip my toe in the wholesaling and storages too. So if there's any good deals, let me know.
Here's the
All right.
question. Did your new tenants check bounce for their deposit? Are you good?
They actually paid me straight cash. I was like,
Oh, that's beautiful.
okay.
All right. Nice. All right. Congratulations. Anybody else? Brian, I'm going to call you out. I know you're looking for something. You and your dog.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So
Good evening.
me, Julie, and our beautiful diamond right here. We were looking for single family, multifamily, buy and hold, maybe seller financing. I don't know. You got me on the spot here. So I mean, generally not inner city, but kind of suburbish. We live in Kendall, so we're more west side. I guess that's about it, right? I mean,
cool.
Yeah.
Kendall, Brockport, Holly.
Yeah.
Give Brian a call. You got
Yeah,
something
and
that way. Albion. You might go to
Yeah.
Albion. It probably depends on what street in Albion.
Yeah, Brian, put your information on the chat box so people actually have it.
Okay,
Please.
I'll do that. Thank you.
I can go now too,
Yeah.
Cool. Go.
if Brian's done. Sorry. But pretty similar to what he just said. My name's Dan. Probably more so a multifamily, just trying to get into an owner occupant situation. A side-by-side duplex would be cool, or just a multifamily I could rent out part of. Looking at Henrietta, Gates, south of the city, kind of north Winton, within Monroe County. Besides that, really just trying to gain some confidence, knowledge about real estate. If there's other areas to explore, people that could partner. So glad to be here.
Welcome. And by the way, would you be interested in something in the 19th ward?
Yeah, I'd be open to talking about that.
All right. I may have maybe. Well, all right. Just reach out.
Okay.
Excellent. All right. Anybody else? You've heard what we're all looking for. If you're looking for something, speak up now.
I'll go next.
All right, cool.
I'm looking for investors, flippers, cash buyers, anything of that sort. I can find any kind of properties in the city, out of the city, whatever fits your wants and needs. And any information on distressed properties or people that are being foreclosed on or for whatever reason are motivated sellers. Information on that would be appreciated too.
I did see that everyone's favorite foreclosure information source in Rochester has a list he just published up on Facebook yesterday. I don't know if anybody saw that or not from him, but it's up. Foreclosures are starting. They're back. It's an actual thing again after almost three years of there being none.
Yep. They're here, and short sales.
yeah, now that they're here, it's a topic we can talk about at another time or tonight, but yeah, I know they haven't been around in a while, that's for sure. And I made some pretty decent money at short sales and foreclosures and stuff. So, yeah, cool. All right. Anybody else?
Hi, it's Diane. I'm looking for a 4-family, Ontario County, preferably, maybe Steuben, and actually expanded to the Adirondacks. I go there quite often, and it would be cool to have a place that was 3 places were rented, and I could leave one open for myself for Airbnb. So it's my thought process. Thanks.
Diane, did you do what we talked about last week?
I did. I called several realtors up there and I've been looking, so I'm going to call more. Yes. Thanks, Joe.
Good.
Cool. There's somebody else I'm going to call out, but I'm going to wait for that person to possibly step up. I think I'm calling you out. You better speak up.
Oh man, Scott, were you a professor at one time or something?
Let's go. School of Rock. Let's go. All right. Carl W., are you with us?
He may be muted.
Why
Was.
why
He's
are
here.
you bringing me in on this program here? Okay.
Okay. Have these wants. What do you have that you're selling, or what do you need?
Well, I'm not selling. No, yeah, I'm out of New York State. Okay, I don't want to go there. But
All right.
what do I need? I need a hole in my head. Is what I need. I need. I fulfilled what I needed actually, so I'm good for right now. Thank you, Joe of Bavera. And yeah, okay, we're okay right now.
Good. All right. Carl is satisfied. Okay.
Yeah.
Carl's
It'll be-
satisfied, and everybody's satisfied.
It'll be interesting to just have a better idea about that. We probably won't get it here. Okay, I got my video out. We probably won't get it here, but to know what that really translated between Carl and Joe and what that really was about and all those sorts of things. We probably won't find it out until probably a year or so from now, but it didn't go by all of us, okay? And Joe, yes, I'm gonna ask you about it.
This was something Carl wanted for like 20 years. It wasn't me.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, I can't do anything more than that to try to drag it out of them.
Yeah. So Carl's going to be happy. Carl, Lime is closing Tuesday. And I know he's muted. Sorry, Scott, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you didn't interrupt me. No, I called Carl out, and Carl spilled something he doesn't want to, go into any detail on. That's okay, Carl. No pressure. No.
For those that don't know, Carl has done, I don't know how, he's probably managed what, thousands of houses. He's done it for 38 years. I mean, he's got to have done almost every street in Rochester. He had to.
Well, Joe, you blowed me up too much. So
that's the truth.
Well, yeah. I mean,
time there you go.
Time is of the essence, right? We after 38 years, I mean, we've seen a lot of stuff. I mean, I've been involved with hundreds of deals on the buyer side, on the seller side, on the management side. It's crazy. So yeah, there's a lot of experience there, and so I'm here available to help newbies, gravitate, try to get through that whole thing. And so I'm here for that. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot of knowledge. We appreciate you being on the call.
Thanks.
On the Zoom thing here.
Carl actually runs one of the landlord meetings. I'm gonna go landlord in a minute. Carl, are you still doing the trainings and stuff like that in Rochester, like what you did with me over on Lenox Street 100 years ago?
Oh my God, that's so long ago. No, so the one-on-one sessions are kind of defunct right now. Not really. I do one-on-one coaching. So if this new person, wanting to get into real estate, wanted to, analyze a property correctly, I do that right now. So yeah, I'm available for that, and I'll put my information, my thing in the chat.
Thanks, Carl. And yeah, way back when I got started in rental real estate, Carl came out, looked at a property for me, and gave me some really good pointers and what he thought the rents could be and all that. And I paid him the fee, and I can't even tell you how many times I got my return back on that investment with him. So well worth it. He has so much knowledge and all that. So cool. Thanks, Carl. All right, good. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to sign off. I'm going to switch over to my phone. The library closes at 8, and they start looking through the window at me here in a little bit. So I'm going to sign off, but I'll come back on my phone in my car. So Joe,
no problem.
Take over. Cool, man.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I hope I can do it to your standards, Scott.
Get you on a few.
All right. So look, we like to keep this live and interactive. Okay. And Scott and I don't want to be just the only ones talking over here. This is designed not only be able to answer questions, but also be able to connect with each other. And this is a great forum to be able to do that. As you're starting to see, the networking here is key. So some of you may have some questions. If you have any questions or a deal you're looking at or a deal you're talking about or thinking about doing, feel free to ask. Okay. We'll answer the best of our abilities. There's a lot of people here around with a lot of experience, and you'll be able to get some different ideas. Anybody have anything that they want to go over, anything they want to talk about? And don't be afraid. Don't be shy here. This is what this is for.
But seller financing. So what's the best way to approach an owner, or if you're working on the MLS, a house on the MLS, to get the real estate agent to present that to their client?
Anybody want to answer that? We got some shy people.
Seller-backed mortgage.
So basically, on the one of the things that I found is that whenever I talk to someone, especially for seller financing, obviously you have to be able to put it in a way where it's going to be advantageous for them. And what I mean by that is that and we went over this actually, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I just briefly touched upon it. If I've got somebody who owns a property and they've had it for a long time, or if they're in a situation where they have to sell, I mean, it's going to depend on where they're at. Are they about to go into foreclosure? Are they, have they owned it for a long time? Are they going to hit with tax liability? And by the way, what was the name of the gentleman who asked that question?
That was me, Jay.
Okay, Jay, sorry. I can't see the names on this, so I apologize. So Jay, one of the things that I end up doing is if I find out they've owned it for a long time, I kind of present it in a way where I say, look, sometimes when people like you have had a house for this long, sometimes they can't sell it because of what's going to happen with the capital gains. The government has their hands in our pockets down to our kneecaps. Now they want to get to our ankles and tie our shoes through that way. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I said, well, one of the things we end up, you may get taxed. They're like, some of them don't really realize that. And I say, well, one of the ways that we've had to do to help the seller, such as you, I don't say one of the things that I do, it's one of the things that we have had to do to help the seller like you to avoid the taxes is that we've actually had to have them hold a mortgage for us. It's short term. It helps them on the back, it helps them on the front end with the taxes, and you're still getting payments every single month, especially if it's a rental.
Great.
I say, look, if so I tell them if it's a rental, I'll say, look, just imagine getting the rent every month without the tenants in the toilets. Okay. And then what I'll say is that, if it's an owner occupied, I'll say, look, you're also going to be making money in the middle with the interest, and then also offsetting that huge tax bill. We could do it for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Okay. And depending on what the place looks like, and I'll tell them, and sometimes they're just like, well, and I've had them come back to me and say, well, what happens if you stop paying me? And I go, Mr. Seller, I promise you, if you see what I'm going to do to this property, you're going to be hoping and wishing I stop paying you, because I'm going to increase the value of it so much. You're literally going to be secretly wishing that I don't pay you, because not only am I going to have my feet to the fire, I'm also going to be increasing the value of your property. Okay. And the other situation is going to be is that it could be 3 years or 5 years to be able to help you offset the taxes. And if we have to pay off sooner, we can also do that too. Okay. So I start to massage their thinking. Not all real estate agents like to do that. Some of them will present it as the market starts to change, which it is now. Time and circumstances are making people look at other options, because you've got more days on market. Stuff is really starting to, we're getting more and more inventory. Okay. And Jay, have you done any owner finance properties yet, or are you just trying to get started with it?
Trying to get started with it. I mean, I have, all the properties I've bought has been with, conventional financing. So,
okay.
So I'd like to get into, with accelerated financing, I can get, lower down payment, which allows, buy more houses instead of having to, chunk up 25% every time I buy a house. So, so if I go 10%, then I can, that's 2.5 houses right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
No, you're right. You can do that, and it's all on how you present it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people said, hey, will you hold a mortgage for me so I can pay every single month? And then the first thing that comes in their mind, they're going to look at you. They're going to be mentally, subconsciously, unconsciously. They're going to start thinking, can I trust this guy? And they're going to judge you immediately. If they can't, if they don't trust you, you're out. You're done. So when you say, if you present it the way we just talked about, your strength of language will always correlate with your bank account and your success in any business. It's the exact same thing here. That's what you have to do. It's all on how you present it. Okay.
Gotcha.
And that's one of the ways. There's other ways. There's many other ways to do it, but plus it's going to depend. How bad do they want to get rid of it? Are they far away? Whatever. So it's not a cookie cutter situation. Anyone else have any words of wisdom?
Joe, what insurance policy that you talked about before? Sorry, Carl. But in case the buyer or the seller wants to has an issue or is scared about taking it back. And remember about the insurance policy the attorney set up. I don't know if you want to talk about that as well. To kind of protect the buyer and the seller. Or I'm sorry, to protect the seller for that. In case something happens.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, One of the things, just like I told him, is just I don't like to tell them, listen, if I stop paying you, don't worry, the lawyer's going to come in there and, take it. I say, look, you have that. And by the way, you have the safety net of the attorneys, because the attorneys handle everything and they're going to cover your butt. And more importantly,
my sellers, they're like, oh my God, they eat that up. So that's just why I mentioned it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can put that in along with, say, listen, I'm going to be increasing the value of this property. So even though I know you're going to secretly want me to stop paying so you can take it back, bottom line is, if anything does happen, the attorney will take care of everything for you. Okay. So I want to keep it as soft as possible for them. You know, like you're dealing with guys with storage. The guys with storage, they understand this more than the average person who just owns one house.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you're dealing with some guys. These guys, they got multi-million-dollar properties. To them, holding paper. Yeah. Okay. What do you got? They want to know about interest, return, and down payment. So I have to be able to keep it very simple. And I've had people say, well, listen, I'll give you a certain amount of money. I'm going to pay you a certain amount of interest, a certain amount a month. Then we're going to do a balloon payment and blah, 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 blah. And what's a balloon payment? What's this? I keep it stupid simple because that's just the way I operate, because that's my mentality, but it works for me. Okay. And,
So Joe, can I inject a second here?
Yeah.
So, I mean, one of the things we talked about earlier was some of the vendor members, and clearly Steve Peterson is one of those. And Joe uses Steve, I'm gonna guess, pretty much exclusively.
Yes.
And he can help work through these steps and have you understand, one, what are the things that you need to be concerned about, and two, what are the things that you can provide that address some of the concerns that a seller might have. And clearly, I mean, Carl knows this. He mentioned it a little bit earlier about New York, but New York is a little bit different. Let me put it another way, a little bit more difficult than some of the other states in the US, particularly in the arena that we're talking about, but it can still be done. And people like Steve Peterson can help you work your way through this, particularly for the first deal that you're going to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve's my attorney also, so.
Perfect. You're in great hands.
Right now, Joe, with interest rates or, say 5.5, 6, maybe just over 6 for a lot of buyers, what do you think's a reasonable interest rate to offer the seller?
There's a saying, either you give them their price and they take your terms, or vice versa. It depends. You can offer them 5-6% and maybe give them, so we'll say, well, then if they say, because I always try to go back and forth in a nice way. If they say, listen, I want $20,000 down, and I want 6%, I'll say, look, I'll give you the $20,000, but I can do 5% or whatever. If they say 7 or 8%, and say, well, no, listen, I really want the 6%. Okay, well then I'll give you the 6%. I'll give you $15,000 down. And I always end it every single time. At the same time, I'm also going to be putting in, I'm going to be putting in a lot more money into the property. So that property's going to look a heck of a lot nicer. So if I'm coming in at $15,000, I'm actually coming in even higher than that, because that doesn't even include my closing costs and what I'm going to put into the property. So I'm going to increase the value. I'm going to give you your interest rate. I'm going to give you a good down payment, and you're going to secretly be wishing that I stopped paying you. And usually they start laughing at that point. As long as I get them laughing, then I know we're going somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it really is all about the numbers, okay, as Carl would say, all about the real numbers. But the key thing here is the interest rate is important, obviously, but it's not like the only criteria. You can work your way around the interest rate. Some of us here recognize when the interest rate, when you needed to go to a bank and get a mortgage for a property, we remember when it was like 16%. People nowadays, they would just go, whoa, my goodness, 16%. But that's the point where people were buying properties before. I mean, certainly we got inflation, a whole bunch of things going on, but I don't think we ever get back to the point where we get to those numbers here in the near term. But you can make it work regardless of what those numbers are. It's just that it needs to make sense to you and it needs to make sense to the seller, and it all comes down to what is it that they're really trying to accomplish? Joe didn't talk about that part, but that's definitely in his mind. And that's one of the key pieces that you need to look at when you're trying to do seller financing.
Yeah. And Carl, were you trying to say something also?
Oh, no, we're good right now.
Okay. All right. Jay, does that answer your question? Hopefully we didn't overload you there.
Oh, yeah, that answers, my question, how to approach them and that type of thing is the way to, do it. Because a lot of times I have approached, some people on it before and they just, sometimes I wonder if they don't understand it. So they just, they just say no before they even, before the conversation starts, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Sometimes I said to them, I say, well, first of all, do you understand what I'm talking about? Well, not really. And then you just keep it very, very simple. I just say, well, what don't you understand? The whole thing. Okay. So and you're going to get that, and true statistical fact, confused people do nothing. So anybody who's in sales knows this for a fact. If a person or potential customer is confused, they are not going to do anything. So if the people you're talking to, you're trying to buy a house from, are confused, and you're confusing them, they're waiting for the next guy to come in behind you.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times people, we necessarily don't get it because we're new. We're trying to figure it out. And I'm going to get a lot of people upset with me with the comment I'm going to make. But Joe Lavera, he gets it. He recognizes the fact that it's not just sometime about the numbers, it's about the people, it's the way they think. It's the fact that you need to go in and you need to have them understand how things work. And it takes Joe has this way of, I've seen him in action, okay? Interacting with people so that they feel really, really comfortable. And he's not trying to sell them some funny great water, okay? He's trying to have them understand. The key thing is when he gets to the end, they all understand it and they agree. And I've watched him for many, many years. I can just tell you now, it's not a technological thing, it's a gift. So if I walk into a house, I tell people this all the time. If I'm walking in this house and there's, we're going to be talking to sellers, or we're going to be looking at the houses and they're going to be saying, give me your offer, and Joe is there, I just say, okay, time for me to go home and watch TV.
Oh God, please. That's so not true. I just practice. You just got to constantly practice. I talk to myself and to put myself in different scenarios, to be able to learn how to talk to people. That's it.
Okay. You see what I'm talking about, right? How many of you guys go down the line? How many of you guys do that? I'm not talking about you, Carl. You had a lot of practice, but, go down the line and do that, because that's really what you really have to do. You really have to have your game all outlined and be able to react to what that seller is saying in a way that's positive. And one of my basic things is when I leave a discussion with a seller, I want them to have the same level of self-esteem as when we started the discussion off, and I want them to feel even better. And so that's my number one item. Joe's got 2 or 3 items that he puts in that category, and he's more polished than any of us on the call. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I just talk a lot more. That's all. That's all.
Whatever it is, it works. Let's put it that way.
Oh my gosh. Well, I appreciate it, but I just do what I got to do, I guess. I don't know. What the heck was it there? Okay. All right. Anyone else want to have anything to add on, or actually anyone else have any other?
Well, yeah. Let me jump in, Joe. So
Yeah.
Joe has a knack.
Oh God, listen, this is not about me. I really.
No. it has a knack. It's just the most important part of a transaction. It's developing rapport. We're developing, other stuff other than terms and conditions. Let's talk about your situation. Let's talk about what's going on in your life. Let's talk about what's happening. Finding that need, right? Finding that 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 their problem, right, Joe? So it's not about terms and price in this upfront. Let's talk about all the other stuff that's driving you to this decision today, right?
Yeah, well, that is 100%. And then I also break people down to 4 categories, which I've talked about before. I'm not going to get into now, but yeah, it's just, all of us do it. You've got a great knack for it. You've done thousands and thousands of houses, Carl. So I don't even want to hear it. So,
yeah.
But by the way, questions, anybody have questions on what we're talking about? Don't be afraid to expand on it. Or if you have other questions you want to ask, I don't even know if Scott's even on it. Scott was even able to get on.
He's still in.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he's still on.
Oh, I can't tell. Because I can only see one person on this thing. So I don't know.
I'm back on now, Joe.
All right. I don't know if anything you wanted to add, Scott, or
No, we're talking about owner financing, right?
Yeah. He
Okay,
wanted to
yeah.
know how to approach them. So.
Yeah, Joe, they're gonna lend to people they trust, people with a little bit of experience and stuff like that. And that's the thing. It's a real comfort level for them, and then some of them got to run it by their CPAs. They want to run it by their attorneys, which is fine. I mean, you want all that done anyways. But yeah, it's a hard conversation to bring up at first. Anybody who's newer at it, Gabe might want to talk a little bit about it. It's up to Gabe. But the first couple conversations are not easy, but as you do it, you get better, and you start saying the right things, and people are like, yeah, I didn't think of that, so that's the thing. Gabe, you want to talk about like the first conversation you had? Because I know it was maybe a couple months ago or 3 months ago that you had that first conversation, and how your conversations go now.
4 months ago. I mean, I remember, I even forgot what property was. It was Nebraska, I think, wasn't it, Scott? I think that was the one that we didn't go in on, but
yep.
I remember, or was it the Dakotas? Whatever. So the point is that I remember that day that I actually called Joe first to get some pointers on it and what have you. And much to my amazement, I mean, not amazing, but listening to him and how, and I thank you again, Joe. I gotta say thank you again for that, by the way, for the advice, because it would work. I nailed it, and the conversation I had was specifically like, what do you think about owner financing? Let's talk about it. And then they had all these questions and concerns. I don't know you. And then, I don't know who you are. What if something happens, And I said, to you, like you told me in my own words, what if we're in a football stadium with 65,000 people, a big asteroid comes and kills us all? What are you going to do then? What's going to happen? You don't know that. It could happen. No, highly likely. Well, it's highly likely I'm not going to not pay you then, I said, and I went out from there, and I told him, I said, listen, buddy, I said, we own 14 facilities. Here, I'm going to call my credentials. We own 14 facilities in the United States. We have not failed on any one payment. We have a mortgage to pay. We have families to feed. We have dogs to feed, what have you. It's not going to stop. This is our livelihood. This is our reputation on the line. You think I'm going to risk not paying you? And I was straight up with the guy. And I was straight up on it. And because these are business people. I know we're dealing with homeowners and commercial, but I'm dealing with business people. I'm trying to get to the level. I just cut straight through the throat. I'm like, listen, guy or girl, here's how it is. And here's the truth. And then I kind of calm it down and explain them how our financing works. And then, I don't go into the terms because I said, let me see your numbers first, then we'll talk about terms, because the first question is like, what are the terms? Well, pump the brakes. Let's see your numbers first, then we look at the terms and we talk about terms. We negotiate it in due diligence. And that first conversation, I nailed it, but as I went on and on, that's my second question, the conversation. Numbers first, owner financing second, because I want to know that, because and I also tell them about the capital gains. And they're all aware of that, like, holy crap, this president, that president, like, I don't care about the president right now. We know about capital gains. You want to get killed? That's up to you, buddy. Like, no, no, think about it as an extra social security payment. You got one social security payment for the government, and you got this one here. I'm like, yeah, I never thought about that way. I'm like, yeah, exactly. So now you got 2 payments now. So what do you think? They're like, okay, let's talk about it, So the more and more I go along with it, the more, just like anything you do, any conversation you have, to my first phone call, to my first source facility, to now, to owner financing, to now, the more and more you do it, the more you talk about it, and just talk and talk. Practice, yes, practice like Joe does. But even the phone call itself, it's like, it just goes like water. I mean, it goes smoother and smoother and smoother, because you figure out all the nuances and what have you to get to that person's not push his buttons, but to like Joe says, massage it and like say, okay, you need the dough and stuff like that, and bake the bread.
So, and just so everybody knows, Gabe, that deal that you're just talking about, how much was that? What did that guy want for that property?
Oh, geez, it was a 1.2 or 1.3. Scott, do you remember? I don't remember. Somewhere around there.
It was
1.3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason why I asked that's for everybody, because you can do owner financing on I've seen people do it on $15,000 houses, $10,000 houses, believe it or not, on $5,000 houses. And you can do it on, it doesn't matter what the numbers are. You can do it on multi-million-dollar numbers. And Gabe and Scott, these guys are doing, multiple 6-figure and 7+ figure deals. Okay. So owner finance, you can do on anything. Okay. Everything is negotiable. I tell people, this is America. If you can't do it here, you can't do it anywhere. So everything is negotiable if possible here. Okay. Anybody else have any questions on this?
What's the day next week for the seminar in Canandaigua? That
I didn't hear the full question, but the self-storage meeting is next Tuesday, September 20th at 6:30.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll be presenting there. Yeah, it'd be great to see you.
Yeah. That'll be. Actually, I know Lou and Scott, I know I didn't get a chance to talk to you, but Llewellyn called me earlier today. She was dealing with a situation with a property, and I think I think it might be something good example, unless people have some questions. I want to make sure to take questions first.
I actually do.
Go ahead.
So can you explain to me, how does the owner financing work?
Who wants to answer that one?
What was the question? I didn't hear the question.
How does owner financing work?
Like, what do you mean? How the terms mean, or?
Well,
he's asking what it is.
Yeah, like what is it? Like, this is my first time hearing about it.
Okay. So I don't know if anyone else wants to answer it.
I'll try to answer it. Let's say somebody owns a house, rental house. They've had it for 30 years. They own it free and clear. You're trying to buy it for, let's say, $100,000. Now, if they sell it to you and they take the whole $100,000, they got to pay capital gains on all of that. When you talk about owner financing, you can say, hey, you know that they own it free and clear. And you talked about the benefits of owner financing, but then they're like the bank. is what they are. The bank makes you a loan to buy the property. They're gonna make you a loan to buy the property, let's say for $80,000, and then you come up with the $20,000 down payment, or you find a partner who maybe has $20,000 but doesn't want to do the work or managing of the property, and you guys partner up, and that's all negotiable too on percentages and all. So, and then you just buy the property, they put the $20,000 down, you make monthly payments like a loan to the owner that you just purchased it from the seller, and then you just go on your merry way. They just act like the bank. Does that help at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, if somebody else wants to get another definition on it, I mean, it can't hurt to have somebody else talk about it.
Well, not
I
another.
don't want to change the definition. Your explanation was very good, Scott. The only qualification or little twist to it, I would add though, is property does not always have to be free and clear. You can go, there are techniques to, if there is a mortgage on it, small, not, it can't be at 90% loan to value, but there is, you can work with a financed property.
So another sort of tangential type of item associated with this would be you, and you can clearly you can argue that, well, this is not seller financing, but I sort of put them together, and that is you take the property subject to the existing financing staying in place. So you take it like subject to, which is a different type of approach associated with what's owner financing, but it is owner financing because you can't do it if the owner doesn't agree. So in other words, you basically take over their payments, you take over what they're doing, and you actually then make those payments for them, versus a situation where what was being outlined in the very beginning, where some person has the property is free and clear, and now what you're doing is you're actually getting them to take the mortgage. So there are a number of different variations to the things that we're talking about, and the further you get into it, the more you understand and you recognize there are a number of different options. Okay, the key thing here is, well, why would this be important? It's important because of the fact that if you are a person who are looking to buy a property now and the interest rates are going up, if you can take over some loan or mortgage where the interest rates are lower, then it's going to be to your advantage, because now you are locked in at that rate versus one that might be 2 or 3 points higher. Does that make sense?
Yes. And then they sign over the property to you.
I beg your pardon? I missed that.
I said after that, they sign over the property to you.
Well, once the payments and things are done, then they no longer have any type of vested value, for sake of better words, in the property. And that's the reason why you want to do it. And you want to do it with an attorney. And I'll get people maybe a little bit concerned, but Steve Feederson understands how to do that. He's the vendor member and attorney that most of these people on this call use.
This is a subject to deal you're talking?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I understand your deviation with how.
No, I agree. Yours does, it's exactly, or very similar. I agree. There's just, there's a lot of variations to seller financing.
Right.
That's, they write books on it.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
We're gonna go
I was
on.
waiting for somebody to say on a sub twos in Rochester are difficult. Possible, you do them, but they are a little difficult.
Well, they're a lot more difficult on a first than they are on a second. So, yeah.
Being the first deal you're talking about.
No, first position versus second position.
Oh, okay.
Keep it simple for everybody.
Yeah, okay.
You guys, listen.
I agree. We're getting a little complicated here. So I you know.
You guys are numbers oriented. So
I have a simple question.
Go ahead.
This is Lucas. Hey, so Joe, you mentioned when you were describing how you would speak to somebody about seller financing that you would mention, look, I'm also putting money into the house. If I'm looking to sell you this place, why do I care beyond the potential of having to reclaim the house if you don't pay me? Why do I care how much you upgrade the house that I'm selling you?
Because let's just say we use Scott's example. It's $100,000 house, and you wanted I don't know. Let's just say it was worth, after I fix it up, I don't know. We'll just throw 200, whatever. Okay. And let's just say it needs like, 30,000 bucks worth of work. And you're like, well, okay, Joe, I want, like, instead of me giving you the $100,000, say, listen, Lucas, it was Lucas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucas.
Sorry. Luke. Sorry. Yeah. There's no names on it, so I apologize. I can't see it. So Luke, I'd be like, I say, listen, what I can do is this, because I'm going to be putting in $30,000 into this property. Okay. So instead of me giving you, the full 100 grand and you paying all those taxes, what I'm going to do is I'd be willing to give you $50,000 down. Plus I'm going to pay you interest. Okay. So at least that way you'll still be receiving money plus getting more on the back end. And what's going to happen is that not only am I putting down the $50,000, I'm also going to be putting in $30,000 into the house. So I've already increased the value of that property. So that $30,000 is actually going to make that house worth probably 160, 170, 180, 190, almost 200 grand. So let's just say, Luke, and I'm pretending you're the seller. So Luke, let's just say you secretly want me to stop paying you. And here's why you secretly want me to stop paying you. Because I will have given you $50,000 down. Plus I put $30,000 of my own money into it. And then you want the house back. So you got 50. And then you're going to take that house and you're going to resell that house for $200,000. So you will have made $250,000, $250,000, Luke. That's why you secretly want me to stop paying you. Okay.
Got it. It's the pressure. It's the pressure on you to pay. It's the value to them if you don't. Yep.
Yes. And I always make sure that I don't talk about me. I always want to, what's good for the seller. Okay.
Yep.
The seller doesn't care about me. Okay. They may pretend or whatever, but realistically, they don't care. They want to know what's going to be in it for them. And for them is my feet are in the fire. Okay.
Yeah.
So you potentially, and say the worst case scenario, you're going to make $250,000. Okay. That's why you're going to secretly want me to fail. And let me tell you something, Luke, I've never lost a house. And I mean this very nicely. You're not going to break my track record. Okay. Because that doesn't happen. Okay. Oh, D, we can hear you.
Yeah, but I need to interject too, because I have a question.
I'm sorry.
And I don't know if it's a question in regards to seller finances, but I had a call on the iPad. A guy was asking me about appraisals. I told him to log into this meeting, but I don't see that he did. And the question is, he's got property that was appraised low in the city of Rochester. He went through the city of Rochester to challenge the appraisal. I told him to get comps, 3 comps in that area of equal value, and then submit them into the city and see what they would do. He said he was working with the city, so he wanted to know if I could refer him to somebody that knew anything about appraisals. And I want to know if anybody, who to refer him to if I need to. Any questions? Any answers?
Who is doing it? Well, first of all, this is an assessment. He's challenging his assessment.
Correct.
But who is, he teaches it. He gave us a presentation on challenging assessments.
Yeah, I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he presented when we were at
It was
the,
Ted Welter.
yeah.
Thank you. Yes,
It
that's
was
it.
Ted,
Who
but
was that?
he won't talk to anybody who's doing anything less than a $750,000 building. He
Yep.
won't even
Really?
answer the phone. He will not answer the phone.
Really?
Yes, that's all he does. $750,000 plus. That's
Yeah,
his
well-
starting point.
When we were talking to him, of course, he was doing, the last time that we had interaction with him was prior to the pandemic. And basically he presented at, what was it? It was like where
General meeting. It was at that crappy hotel.
Yes.
Yes.
It was
Right
at
across from where the-
roadway inn. It was awful.
Yes. Right
I mean, his
across-
presentation was great, but it was an awful location.
Right. Absolutely agree. And yeah, I mean, so he's the person that you would go to, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, as the person who understands how you do the pieces that are being addressed now. Because
Well,
yeah,
He's not gonna do it.
No, he doesn't do it. He only does commercial. He did it to kind of get his name out there and see stuff, but he even then he wouldn't touch anything below three quarters of a million
I've
dollars.
been an appraiser. You know,
But that's so I reached out to him for my own house, and he actually hooked me up with a couple different appraisers in Rochester that were there like within 2 days. I had the appraisal, I had the comps, I had the report, turned it in, and my 43% increase on the value of my home was reduced to 11% increase.
Yeah. So we need to know the name of those folks.
Let me look. I have it in my email, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, the key thing here is, there are things that you can do. And as Andy's indicating here, the challenge is really in, the numbers and how much you're willing, in this case, sort of how much you're willing to pay. But you can't address it. You can't challenge it.
Okay, I was just wondering, I mean, I just know to do the comps and to take them to the city of Rochester and challenge it that way. I didn't know if there was anybody that, I mean, I wasn't sure that I was giving him, first of all, the correct information. And second of all, I didn't know if there was somebody that I could refer him to.
So this is the call that came into you on the meeting tonight, as you're saying?
That is correct.
Yeah. Well, so great to have folks who maybe don't vocalize it themselves, but they ask the question in a different way, which that works too.
Right. Well, hopefully Andy will find it, put it up on the chat box for us.
All right.
All right. Anyone else have any questions they want to go over? Don't be afraid to ask. Everybody's good. We've got actually just a few minutes over here. Llewellyn, are you still on right now?
Yeah, I'm here, Joe.
All right. So I asked Llewellyn if I could do this. I warned her ahead of time. So Llewellyn, quickly, because I want people to be able to examine if this is a deal or not. Llewellyn called me with a lady who's in a situation, but I'm going to let Llewellyn explain it real quickly here, and then we're going to go over what it could be and what it, depending on if you're looking to buy and hold or flip, which is go ahead, Llewellyn. Tell it just.
Okay, so I had a seller call me with a house that she owns, but her husband passed away, and she has been sick herself, and she's on disability. So her house was not lived in for a couple of years because she couldn't live in it anymore and take care of it because of her health issues. So she moved out and stopped making payments on it. Of course, this was during COVID. So they offered, I don't know what they call it, but she had something set in place with the mortgage company where
Modification.
Yeah, so that was happening. And when it came around time to renew it, she forgot to renew it, or she didn't get it renewed because of her health or something. So bottom line is, she's sick on disability and wants to sell her house. So she is looking to find out what happens, or what happens if she sells her house while she's on disability. Does she get to keep the money from the sale of the house? Does she have to pay disability back? Or what? And I didn't know the answers to any of those questions. So I'm just trying to find out maybe some more information before I get back to her on this. The house is, it's a pretty decent house. It needs some work. It's a split level. It has 4 bedrooms and a bathroom. And she owes, I think around 50, 55, something like that. I don't know how far behind she is with the payments.
No,
I think she had a letter saying that they needed to collect $5,000 from her ASAP. So
What's how much is it worth?
the house, I believe, is worth about 130.
What?
We're about to go to Geneva. So near
Well,
500.
now, what's the, how much in repairs think it needs, Llewellyn? What did you tell me?
About 20.
20.
So that's 75, roughly.
Now, the other thing too, Joe, is that she hasn't paid. Let's just say it's a year. At 52, even if it's an average of $700 a month, there's 8,400, 9,000 plus late fees and penalties. That's going to be somewhere in the 60s. That's only if it's a year, if you're lucky. Right?
You really need to know the arrearage. I mean, you
if it's a year,
right.
She stopped paying 2 years ago.
I'm really thinking, well, that's true. What I was wondering is, I'm going to steal from somebody else who loves doing these things. And this may not fit, but she's on disability. She doesn't live in the property. She's on disability.
Right.
Yeah. What, and I, as far as her question on does she owe disability back the money, that's an attorney question. I don't know. But I know somebody that loves taking properties over. If you could take it over for 5,000 and make the repairs, rent it out, do all kinds of things, pay her, make her basically a rent to own. You control it without owning it.
That just, what do you mean? Paying up her, whatever she's in arrears? The $5 grand?
$5,000. If that's what they're demanding now to get her reestablished, I guess, to stop the foreclosure. If it's $5,000 and then she can start making payments, that seems like a potential potentially able to control it without owning it and without the liability. Now, I mean, Joe, you're absolutely right. It depends upon how much all of that underlying debt is going to be and what the repairs are going to be as to whether it's worth doing.
Yeah.
But
and Joe, and Llewellyn told me she wanted to walk away with some money. Llewellyn, how much money did she want to walk away with?
Yeah, well, I asked her what her asking price would be, and she said she wanted at least 80,000 for the house.
Which
8,000 or 80,000?
80.
80.
As a flip, who would buy that?
No, it's not a flip. It's not a flip.
I know. And as a buy and hold, You know, if you buy it for 80, closings put you at about almost 84, 85. You put 20 into it, you're at 115. Or no, you're at what is it, 105, 110. And then, you know, you're gonna be over $100,000+ for a rental out there. Some people that may work. For me personally, that doesn't work.
But what if you're not using your own money? What if you're using her money?
What do you mean?
You're going back to what we talked about before. It's seller financing, but keep the property in her name, and she just finances it for you on whatever rate she has. It's an older mortgage, whatever that rate is.
Now, well, Joe, let me ask you a question on that. And by the way, we know it's 8:30, so if some of you need to drop off, you can. We'll stick around for a few extra minutes over here, just to let people know. Just know something like it's 8:30. And if you do have to go, thank you very much. But Joe, my question though is that what I found is that people are in foreclosure, typically they have other liens against them. And what I would be afraid of is that unless you do a subject to and you put the deed in your name, if she's holding the paper and, you know, without transferring title, and all of a sudden, you know, the creditors come and knocking, and you put $30,000 into that house, 20,000, and they got a $50,000 lien, what's going to happen then?
Well, yeah, it's, you know, that is certainly a very valid point. You got to look into it, but it depends upon what the debts are, and I have to think a little bit, or go back and rethink a little bit, because if she's on disability, does disability have a lien on the property? So you have to know the title as to whether there's anything that could be done. But this is one of County, I guess, but that doesn't cost a lot, or is free to run a quick stub search on the title to give you an idea if there's anything there. And the guy that loves doing this is on the call, so that's really what I was waiting for him to say. Yeah, that's he does it. He does that all day long.
Which type of disability is it? Because there's Social Security disability, and then there's disability because you got disabled on the job. If it's Social Security disability, then then they probably have a stake in when she sells the house. If you got if it's, you know, if you got injured on the job disability, that's a different thing, and that has nothing to do with any, you know, coming back on you.
No, it's not injured on the job. She has an illness that made her disabled. So I got to assume that it's Social Security disability.
Yeah.
So
there may be something she could do with subject to, which I think is what, you know, what was being alluded to, and transfer the property, because, you know, what, you know, Joe said is, you know, basically you've got, if somebody else has a lien on it, if she owes other money, then they're going to come back and they're going to take the house. They're going to put a lien on the house, and, you know, so if you don't take ownership of it, and there's a problem in the future, it can be, you know, it can be troublesome. But you'd probably be better off just exiting the house before, you know, somebody comes in with the 5,000. They do a subject to, take over the property completely, you know, get it, and then she walks away clean. Otherwise, she's going to lose it either way.
But what the mortgagee is going to be very unhappy with the subject to on a deal that is delinquent.
They might be happier. They might be happier than being delinquent.
I'm sorry?
They might be happier to have somebody paying it that's not going to keep them delinquent.
Yeah,
I mean, it depends on the bank. I mean,
I'm gonna think not on that. I don't think that they would like that at all.
The banks won't like a subject to?
No,
Do
no,
they
banks never like a subject to. Banks never like a subject.
Okay. Yeah. Oh.
So
the only question is do they bother doing anything? And on a delinquent mortgage, they may well bother doing something if they're demanding a payment. So, yeah, that could be a problem on that, I would think. But again, and Joe's right, you got to really know what the underlying debts are. She may have liens from SSDI or the county. The county may have a lien on it, or nursing homes. If she's in a nursing home, they will frequently put liens on property.
Credit cards, anything. They always pop up. Every time we've done a short sale, which is people are going into foreclosure,
Right.
9 times out of 10, we have found liens on there. So just, so on that.
It depends, yeah.
Yeah, so you'd have to check that out as well. And okay. Yeah.
So here's the thing. Even if she didn't have any liens and you were able to buy it at $80,000 and it's worth 30 as a flip, you're 80 plus a 30, you're already at what is that? It's 110.
110. Yeah,
110.
it's not a flip. I mean, there's no
Yeah,
way
yeah.
it's a flip.
It doesn't work. Yeah, because by the time you pay commissions, which will be another, that's another 8,000. That puts you at 118. Closing costs again put you at a 120. If you're lucky, you'll gross 10. By the time you're done paying taxes, everything else, you'll make somewhere between 60, well, around $6,800 for all that work. It's not worth it, So I wanted Llewellyn to talk about that because you got to be able to distinguish if it's going to actually be a deal. And this one had so many other nuances, not just a regular, hey, is this deal going to work? We got somebody in foreclosure. We got somebody who doesn't live there anymore, and debts and everything else.
Right. And the other thing that she has to consider with this is if she gets any money from this, she is not going to qualify for disability then.
How old is she?
I think she's in her early 60s.
Really?
Yeah, so she's got a long time left. She wants to make $10,000 or $15,000. What's it gonna be versus what she's gonna lose?
Right. Yeah. Because if she loses her benefits, then that's a whole nother story right there. So kind of a complicated mess there. So
If it was me, I would tell her that. Say, look, find out what's owed on it. If you could possibly do a short sale on it, and that way you get her out of it. You get it for a cheaper price. And if she owes a total of 60-something thousand, worst case scenario, the bank says we want 60,000. And if you can make it work, it's up to you if you're going to keep it as a flip or a rental. They say it gives you enough meat on that deal to be able to go whichever way you want to go with it.
right. Okay. All right. Good ideas.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks for going over that, guys.
No problem. That's what we're here for. I don't know if Scott's even still on.
Thanks, everybody. That was good.
He's
Perfect.
right there.
The man, the myth. I don't know if I think, I don't know, it's about 20 minutes to 9. I think we're all set. I don't know if Scott has anything he needs to add on. I know everybody show up at Scott's meeting over there. And next Tuesday in Canandaigua on Route 332. Crane Realty, 6:30 p.m.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. I hang out for about 5 more minutes. If anybody has anything they want to ask questions about or discuss or anything like that. Thank you, everybody, for sticking on. We covered some good topics tonight, and yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Quiet room tonight.
Yeah, it is. Very
Everybody's-
quiet.
Night, everybody.
Everybody's
Good
tired
night.
or
There's
something.
a lot to
I don't know what's up.
digest.
I'm just
Yeah.
learning.
There's a lot of information in this meeting. This was like information overload 2.0. My brain
Mhm.
hurts and I already know half this stuff.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Sure.
Oh, man.
It's good though. So after this meeting, Scott, on Tuesday, where are you off to next? What's your next stop? It's getting to be too cold for you to stay up here. So is it like go to Colorado and then
Yeah,
go
it
south
is.
or what? What's the
No, we will, I have to fly to Florida for a meeting,
okay.
For 3 days, and I come back. I'll be in Buffalo for another meeting for 3 days. And then depending on what needs to be done on the RV, we'll start heading south right about mid-October. We're gonna go to Virginia, first, and then,
Yep.
North Carolina, Myrtle Beach, Florida,
Cool.
and then, Houston, Texas.
Houston.
Leon's hood.
Houston,
End
okay.
of February, beginning of March.
There you go.
Yeah.
You and Leon can meet down there and get beers or something.
Get beers.
There you go.
Yep. Just I sort of missed a little bit of in the very end there. But just wanted to interject and say I thought it was an excellent meeting. I agree with Andy. I mean, super meeting with detailed information that people need and places that they need to go to continue looking at real estate and how you do it to be successful. Great meeting.
Yeah.
Yep, agreed.
Yes.
It's everybody's participation, so just great. Scott, are you driving right now?
No, I'm not driving. I'm sitting outside though. And if I turn on the video, this is what happens. Let's see. So
There you go.
that's me.
You look like a
Yep.
phantom.
That's right. So, but I got a signal. That's why I moved. So I could join in with you guys tonight and be on this. It was great. So, all right, everybody. Well, with that, I'm going to sign off. And hey, Joe, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You and I are going to be in Buffalo.
It's in 2 weeks.
That Thursday. Yeah.
What?
Are you going? Are you going Thursday?
I don't know. I thought it was like 3-4 weeks away. It's 2 weeks. I thought it was in October. Oh
Hello?
my God. Can you hear me?
We'll talk later.
Yeah, we can
Joe,
hear you.
I'll give you a shout. We'll catch
You
up
just
on that.
you just flabbergasted your partner in crime. I think he's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like,
So-
what?
So
All right,
one-
we'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk offline.
Yeah,
Okay.
why don't you guys help us out? What is it you're going to in Buffalo?
Storage.
Storage meeting, okay. That's what I expected, but wanted to make sure.
What meeting in Buffalo for storage?
You're not invited, Gabe. It's only for storage. It's only for storage guys like Scott and Joe. That you have
Gabe,
to
I'll
be
tell you
rolling
more
it
tomorrow.
coin.
I'm only going because I'm the one driving Scott. He let me be his driver. I have to open up the door to let him out. I have to make sure his shoes don't hit the
You gotta be
pavement.
Moneybags Scott or Moneybags Joe to go. That's this
Nope.
kind of meeting.
No.
God hired me to be his driver. I got to wear a cap. I got to make sure his
Oh.
shoes don't get dirty. I have to carry him all the way from the parking lot into the carpeting on the inside of the hotel.
So Tuesday, I just want
mastermind
you to
group.
know, Tuesday I will be at the Five Finger Death Punch, the Who Megadeth concert in Syracuse, and it will be amazing. And I will be
man,
rooting for
really?
you, but I am going to be
Uh-huh.
happily enjoying my music.
Scott, you need to reschedule.
Man, I might change my meeting. Five Finger Death Punch and who?
Oh, it's Syracuse.
Five Finger Death Punch,
I s-
Megadeth, and the Who. But not the Who like the old '70s band, the Who.
Right.
The Who like the Mongolian metal band, the Who.
The Mongolian band. I saw them last fall, right about this time. I saw them. They were awesome.
They are awesome. They are absolutely
Mhm.
awesome. And then my wife last weekend was at Rammstein in Boston, and she sent videos and pictures. I was here with the boy, and holy crap. Holy crap.
Oh,
Yeah.
I almost went to see Rammstein, right?
Yeah.
I almost went to see them in LA, and then COVID kicked.
Apparently,
So we
well,
couldn't
that was
see
part
them.
of
They had
this
to
same
cancel.
concert. This was the reschedule from 2 years
Okay.
ago.
Wow, awesome.
Wow.
Nuts.
Awesome.
Oh, Andy, just join in on Zoom.
I might actually. I'll be with
Yeah.
I'll be with the Duttons and my wife. My son will be staying at his grandmother's house, so it'll
For
be
sure.
it'll be a good show.
Oh, have
Nice.
fun. All right, everybody.
All right.
Be careful.
Have a great night, everybody. Thanks.
Great night. Thank you.
Take care. Yep.
Right.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.